Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Kiska Brand Bajega Home Edition. Today on our show, we have a panel of India's biggest and most popular Generation Z digital icons, from Bollywood OTT to other giant platforms like YouTube and Instagram. These youth icons have entertained and inspired us with their video content and thus are heavyweights of digital content that brands love to bank upon. So bringing to you, first up, he's a merciless entertainer who's been accused of tickling your funny bone every single time you watch his hilarious minds. He's a YouTube sensation and has also dabbled upon acting on web series as well. Bringing to you the champ of wines, Ashish Chanchlani.
Hello. Hi. How are you, Aditya?
Next up, we have someone who's a top-notch YouTuber, comedian and a digital icon. His journey to the big stage is an inspiration for every young aspiring creator. Bringing to you the serial comedian, YouNick, also known as Nikunj Lotia. Hi Nikunj, or I would say Nick. Our next guest is someone who's currently carrying a storm behind her back on digital platforms with her humorous content that make you go rolling on the floor laughing. Bringing to you the most relatable and celebrated brand on digital platform, the Billy Masi, also known as Kusha Kapila. Hi Kusha.
Hi.
Next, we have the heartthrob of digital content. He's a YouTube sensation, wellness coach, and an entrepreneur as well. His motivating and informative content on self-improvement makes him one of the favorite Gen Z brands. Bringing to you Beer Biceps, also known as Ranveer Allahabadia. Hey Ranveer, how are you doing?
Hi guys, here's the flying kiss for Ashish. I can see it.
Our last, but certainly not the least member, she is the winner of Miss Diva Universe 2015, a popular actor with maximum number of beauty titles to her name. She has displayed her acting chops in movies like Sing Saab the Great, Sanam Re, Pagal Panti, and many more. Bringing to you the very gorgeous Diva Urvashi Rautela. Hey Urvashi, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
I want to start off by asking all of you, right, about your million subscribers journey is well documented, and on your way to stardom, you've managed to cultivate a legion of dedicated followers. I wanted to know about your respective journeys and what exactly inspired you to take up such an unconventional career. Nick, you have a checkered career. There was a time where you were made to stand outside your school classroom due to non-payment of fees, which you started doing odd jobs at a cyber cafe and as a bartender earning just rupees 350 a day, to being the only digital creator from India at VidCon in 2019. Tell us, how has your journey been?
It has been amazing, to be very honest. And I kind of think that I'm happy that it went this way. And I was not having everything with me, because I think I got my drive because of it. So, I mean, it has been fun. But I've always, one thing that's common throughout the journey was that I loved what I did. Even being a bartender was amazing. I have no regrets being a bartender. It was amazing. And but it's just how it is. I like to do things that I like. That's about it. Do things that you love, and just do it passionately, and someday you'll reach your goal.
Right. Well said. Ranveer, from engineering to starting your YouTube channel back in 2014, where you documented your weight loss journey, to becoming one of the most admired and brainiest YouTubers, and finally becoming a serial entrepreneur with your venture Mock Entertainment. How has your journey been?
I always wanted to go into the world of startups right after engineering college. That's what I tried. We tried launching a fitness startup, and to market that, I started YouTube. Eventually, I realized even YouTube by itself can be run as a startup. So I stopped the fitness startup idea, and that YouTube thing kept growing, and then we started more businesses from that. And that's always been the goal, and it's going to be the goal going forward. So YouTube will always be on, social media will always be on.
Right.
But the big goal is always to create brands out of it. It becomes a great launch pad for selling products.
Ashish, you were also an engineering student before choosing to follow your passion, as you then shifted to making comic wines in December 2014. And your video, How to Annoy People Who Say Tu Mera Baap Ko Janta Nahi Hai, went viral. And since then, you've become a rage, especially amongst the millennials, with you having garnered 19.1 million subscribers on YouTube. Tell us about your journey.
So, of course, as you mentioned, I'm a civil engineer, and I had almost given up my studies in middle of my engineering. And I always wanted to become an actor, but yeah, I think YouTube was that one way that I found that people, appreciate you. You go and knock on a producer's studio to get a role, and I became it took me 3 to 4 years to be here. Finally, I would say, yeah, people recognize me, people see my content. And I think internet is this one wonderful gift that has been given to everyone of us over here. Everyone, if you see, I think they started out very early and at the time when nobody was doing it. And I think we are extremely lucky that we did. So, yeah.
Kusha, from dreaming to becoming a journalist to starting your career in digital as a writer, and by the time you left your professional job, you had a maximum number of page views. You then transitioned to become a video star where you managed to create a universe of iconic characters. Tell us, how has your journey been?
Yeah, I honestly think I was at the right place at the right time. If it wasn't for the people around me who constantly pushed me that, "Aap ye kar sakte ho, tu ye kar sakti hai, you can do this, you have this talent," I don't think I would have chosen this as a career. I was 7-8 years into my corporate job. I had a life plan set, and suddenly somebody just decided to put me in front of a camera, did that kind of kindness to me, and I just started, and then there was no looking back. So when life gives you a chance like this, almost like a second chance,
Right.
I just wanted to grab it and make the most of it. And honestly, that's what I did. All the content that you see on my page is just a lot of my past trauma that I've faced from aunties. Ki beta, kya ho raha hai? This is just like doing that and just doing that again for people. And people like it because it's happened to them. So it's always built on relatability. And yeah, that's just me. I'm just trying to be as authentic as I can be online.
Perfect. And we all relate to the great characters that you play. Urvashi, from being a national level basketball champion to winning the title of Miss India Universe to featuring in 10 Bollywood films, how has your journey been?
I would say that since starting, I wanted to have a life. I wanted to have a useful life. I didn't want it to be very futile or useless. Applying nail paints, sitting in the garden, or skipping the classes, going out. I just and watching all those things kind of made me feel ki this is all, I didn't want it to be in that kind of atmosphere. I wanted to do something useful. Always wanted to do something useful. So I think because I am a person who always kind of, loves giving 100% in whatever I do, or maybe it can be in a film as an artist, as an actor, or it can be a brand. I always attach myself to it.
YouTube and Instagram have over 2 billion and 1 billion users respectively, with about 95 million photos and videos being posted on Instagram every day. Each day, people watch 1 billion hours of videos on YouTube. There's just so much of content across social media platforms. So I wanted to know from each one of you, how do you create content that breaks the clutter? Let's start with Nick. Nick, you have over 1.2 billion online views on your videos with your comedy takes on the current happenings, which is great, which is actually getting great engagement. So what are your views on creating that niche that you've created, especially in the digital comedy space?
Firstly, you should make content that you would like to watch. I have a lot of friends, and I'm just saying my way of doing things is that once you go this way, is make content that you like to watch.
Right.
Or you do research on what is working and what do you think people would like to watch, which is also a good way to do it. But what I feel is after a certain point of time, you'll get, brain dead, on thinking of what would people like to watch. And that's why I feel that I'm never like that. And I still have 100 ideas in my mind, which I know I'm going to shoot after this call too. So what I feel is A, you should enjoy your content, and B, you should have fun while doing it. Because what I feel is if you're not having fun, why did you do it in the first place? Why I became a YouTuber or a content creator in the first place is because I wanted to do it and I love doing it.
Ashish, I want to actually take it from here. Nick really spoke about kind of content that he would love to watch, right? That comes to a very important point, right? You've created content which is very relatable as well. So I wanted to understand, does the process of research to create that content, how important is it for you as a content creator?
I think that's the most important thing when it comes to any of us over here being a internet sensation.
Right.
The word relatability. I think that works for everyone. So if you see 2016, 17, 18, we have seen massive things that happen all around us, and seeing that we create content out of it. Now, if you see me, I've made 2 major videos on lockdown on my YouTube channel. And I have never in my life made 2 videos that are consecutive together on the same topic, but still both of them garnered around 55 million views on YouTube. So I was like, before making my last video, Lockdown Ke Side Effects, I was wondering if this would work, if the saturation has come because of the last video. But no, it created more records than the last video. So what is happening around people is what drives our career. That is what I feel. Our entire, basis, this pillar of content is on relatability. And that is always going to work, no matter like what happens and what generations come.
You actually talked about driving inspiration from people around you, which could be your friends, which could be your mother, right? And Kusha, you've actually made a brand about talking about people around you, right? Which is the South Mumbai snobs. But at the same time, while you're talking on that part, which is a relatable brand that you're building, which is in comic, but you're also talking about feminism, right? You're also talking about rights that a woman should be actually having. So how do you straddle between two very, very different genres of content that you produce?
Thank you so much for all the nice things you said. So South Delhi and South Bombay content is something that I did बहुत पहले initially अपने career में, how I started in my career. बहुत पहले माने कि 2 साल पहले, which is by the way 200 years in internet life. I should tell you, I think everybody here will agree. Something you've made a month ago will sound dated, literally, if you post it a month later.
Right.
So it's something that obviously like kickstarted my career. A lot of people said at that time that I'm stereotyping women, but I always tell everybody it's punching up, it's poking fun at the privileged, and that's why a lot of people should not have problems with it, because comedy should always be punching up. It should never be punching down towards any marginalized people in the community. That's what I believe. At the same time, you also evolve as a creator. I'm sure everybody will agree here that they have evolved so much in the last so many years that they've been making content. And it just felt important to speak about issues that affect me on an everyday basis, whether it's abusive behavior towards women online, bullying online, when and I need to say this here, and today feels very, very important to say this actually. When a woman creator makes anything online, the criticism is not on her content, it's on her body, her face, her hair, everything that can be directly attacking her dignity. So that's the reason why it becomes extremely important to raise those issues. Sure. And I try to do them in a very constructive, fun, कि चल बात करते हैं, ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, in that manner.
Yeah,
it's not preachy. Who am I to preach anything? Right. I'm not in a place of authority. I think when creators start to believe they're gods and they are like a level up, or they are in a place of authority, that's when like stuff really starts to disintegrate and starts to fall.
And let me talk to you where you've actually ventured into podcasts, which is very different again as a platform. How do you measure the success in a platform which is a podcast?
Whenever you're tackling any new kind of content, so it could even be if you're taking up Twitter after 3-4 years of running your Instagram, you have to experiment initially. Like your first 20-30 content pieces have to be like really different, so that you understand, okay, this is what works on this platform, this is what doesn't. And by the time you reach that content piece number 20 or 30, you find your formula. So I feel social media, and again, maybe this is the engineer inside me talking, but I feel social media is very mathematical. Sure. I'm sure that actually everyone will agree to this. Like everyone has their set formula. So even if we try experimental content, you know that there's one kind of content piece that will always work and that will get your numbers. Right. And that applies to everything, even something like podcast, which is a completely new medium. We know that there's certain things that just take off. But the game, honestly, is to be very consistent with it. And again, this is also something everyone will agree with, where the moment we put up any content piece on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, our immediate thought is, okay, what's next? We're always looking at the next one. We'll enjoy it probably for like a day or something. And then we'll just think about what to write next. So the combination of these two things, experimenting, analyzing, and going on to the next one, that's what keeps your social media brand like running.
As brands increasingly flock to digital creators, is there a pressure to always deliver ROI, as there are abundant marketing metrics available to evaluate the impact of influencer-driven marketing campaigns, as let's say compared to traditional advertisements? Also, I want to know, is there a competition amongst the digital celebrity brands as to who promotes more brands?
Everyone has their own strategies. A lot of once you cross a certain milestone on social media, you don't really have to bother much about competition. That's just what I feel. Because you've already captured your own pool of audiences who will always be there for you. One common misconception that I feel a lot of social media influencers have, and this is only something I learned after starting Monk Entertainment, which works much more on the brand side.
Sure.
People think that numbers are the only thing that matters. but it's also something called brand perception, which means that suppose there's someone who's just making content for South Bombay, South Delhi audiences.
Right.
What happens is that each of those fans can afford to spend much more. So, say if there is an influencer who only gets 10,000 likes on her fashion posts, she will get brand deals from Louis Vuitton and Gucci for 1 lakh rupees. And if there's someone who gets 100,000 likes on a same fashion post, they might get a brand deal from Big Bazaar for much lesser than 1 lakh, like, 40,000, 50,000. So numbers aren't the only thing that matters. What matters is the organic content you're making, the brand-free content. How are you creating that fandom? How much are you connecting with your fans? Once you've built your community, then competition becomes irrelevant.
I would absolutely agree with Ranveer on that.
Sure.
You'll notice this. Most of the social media stars, influencers are friends. Like, I know Kusha, I know Nick, I know Ranveer, I know BB. So I don't think competition really exists because everyone has their own set of audience and we are so friendly that the first thing that comes seeing us is collab. हम collab कर देते हैं. हम इतने बेशरम हैं कि हम एक दूसरे की audience बांटते हैं. That is one thing that works. Second, coming to a brand, I think what really works with the audience is that you be transparent with them. Like you tell them कि हाँ मैं promotion कर रहा हूँ, हाँ मैं पैसे कमा रहा हूँ, हाँ मैं ये brand लेके आ रहा हूँ. Now how you can play with that is depending on your audience.
Yes, Kusha. Yes, you've been wanting to say something.
So I absolutely agree with Ashish. Competition is a null and void concept online on the internet.
Okay.
People have to really understand this industry works very, very differently.
Right.
A lot of the people who watch us, these audiences overlap. On Instagram, you can actually see what are the accounts with whom your audiences overlaps.
Right.
So it is insane, like how many common people are actually watching all the videos. So let's say a person is following all of us, they will end up watching all our videos. It's not like Kusha has released a video, I'm only going to watch it, but I'm not going to watch Ashish's video. It's not that. It doesn't.
Sure.
Internet does not work like that. Also, brands how they invest in influencers and creators online, they don't work like that. They have multiple, let's say an FMCG brand that has a lot of budget. They have multiple campaigns through the year and they know exactly for which campaign they want what influencer.
Sure.
Now, I'll tell you something. I'm dying to work with a dating app, but they don't want to work with me because I'm married. I don't fit the brand.
Right.
I can still have a fictional character, but I'm not their age group. I'm 30. They want to work with younger creators. And without naming any dating app, I can tell you there is a dating app right now which is working with micro-influencers who have anywhere close to 25K to 50K followers, but their audiences is young. They get them. They get the people. And they would rather have, let's say, 6 influencers across the board who are young and have smaller following, but an engaged following. Engagement is what really brings you the traction.
Yes.
Engagement is what gets you ROIs.
But a lot of you are writers. So when the brand approaches you, I think they're also looking for that extra zing that you add, right, to the brand, which helps to elevate the popularity of the brand to the next level. So Ashish, coming from that, same thing. Don't the brands give you freedom to create the content that you want to create?
There are brands that give you freedom, but then there are brands that, as Kusha said, they don't understand. Like I have followers, Ranveer has followers, Kusha has followers. They know what they're doing. They have an idea what will work in front of the audience. But there are a lot of brands. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the people who run these campaigns are some brilliant geniuses from the MBA background. And I absolutely respect them. I respect them. But they are not content creators.
Yes.
Like we are not from the MBA background. So they know their business, we know the creativity. So they need to understand this mutually that, sir, aapka ye hai, aapka product hai, mera tarika ye hai, isko promote karne ka. But when they get into creativity, right? When they, like for example, I had this one brand once, so their integration scene was fine. I made it as they wanted. But they were like, yaar, climax mein dum nahi. मैं बोला, aapka scene jo hai brand ka, आप उसको बोलो आशीष बकवास है, तेरी एक्टिंग घटिया है, मैं सर इधर मैं लेट जाऊंगा सर, आप हाथ जोड़ के थैंक यू सर, बट आप मेरे बाकी सीन के लिए आप कुछ मत बोलो, वो मेरा काम है कि कंटेंट को कहां पहुंचाना. This is what Nick would like to add.
I would like to add the same thing. I mean, like everybody sitting here, I feel we are fortunate enough right now that we can demand these things with brands. So right now, if a brand wants to work with me, I tell them that I'll give you a script. but I'll only give you your part which is involved in it. I don't even give them the whole script where the whole script is. I'll just give them a concept note, but I don't give them the script which is involved, because I tell them that most of my script is improv. I was talking about the dating app that we worked recently. The dating app trended on iOS #1 for 1 week after my video came out.
Sure.
So, that, and I feel they understand now. I remember we came from these times, I started off YouTube like 6 years ago. So there was a time when YouTube used to take us to this, they used to call it speed dates with brands, where we used to understand what is branding in digital media. Mm-hmm. So we come from that time. So now I guess we are fortunate enough. I don't think they understand that we creators talk about brands. And we talk about brands a lot more than they talk about us. It's not a movie that, if I go to watch Salman movie and I paid for it, and I'm not going to watch probably any other movie. It's a free content, and collaboration is best. I realized I've collaborated with every creator out there. I've collaborated with Kusha, with Ranveer, with Urvashi too, and Ashish too. Like, everybody.
I want to add a small little thing, Kusha. So Nick has collaborated the most with Mostly Sane. I think there are not so many humans on the earth as much as Nick has collaborated with Mostly Sane, and I think that has worked brilliantly for them because the audience wants to see them together. If it was not for the internet, they would have been married. I think that is the level of collab they've had.
One small example is that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I feel is, and I say that like quite often, like if any audience sees Shah Rukh Khan driving Santro, he knows that he's not driving Santro.
Right.
If he sees some of us driving a Santro or a Wagoner, then they realize, okay, he might have this car.
Yeah, that comes to the relatability part. But again, because I also being an engineer, also having done 40 shows on TV, also having done MBA, and also having worked with Shah Rukh Khan, let me also tell you something.
Wow, Aditya, कितना subtly flex कर रहे हैं.
I was waiting, अभी थोड़े टाइम में bartender भी आ जाएगा.
अब तक वो नहीं किया, but कर दूंगा.
Aditya was like, let me think of a way to tell them that I worked with Shah Rukh Khan.
But I'll tell you one thing. But I'll tell you one thing. But again, I'm saying but I know the impact that Shah Rukh has created for Hyundai. Okay, he's just done a theme song as well, where he's like many of you also shot from home, their anthem. And today I think Hyundai has continued with Shah Rukh Khan for years on. So I think today a lot of times, especially, and this is my view, is where today an influencer like Shah Rukh Khan is also looked at from an awareness prerogative, not necessarily from a prerogative saying, yaar, iske liye kharido. Probably a Shah Rukh Khan might probably get you more eyeballs and break away from the clutter. Recently, the Indian government banned TikTok and 58 other Chinese apps. Cringeworthy content aside, the platform garnered huge engagement and was a blockbuster hit, especially in the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 cities. Naturally, brands too followed on the platform, and the TikTokers made merry with a plethora of brand endorsements. In retrospect, do you think the ban will end up benefiting you?
I don't see TikTok as like that kind of audience, to be really honest, because honestly, it's a huge audience, and it's the people of our country. It's the audience everybody wants, but you can't win that kind of audience. If you'll realize, Ashish made a transition. He didn't transition, but he uploaded some of his old fun content on TikTok, and it had insane views in no time. So you can almost believe that the YouTube and the TikTok audience does overlap. Like those charts do overlap, those graphs overlap. So I think it's very important to realize that.
Kusha, just adding on, but don't you think positioning matters? A lot of premium brands would refrain from actually being there on a TikTok because of the certain positioning it has.
No.
You don't think so?
See, you have to realize the journey of Instagram is very different from a journey of TikTok. Let's say, there's a trickle up and there's a trickle down. I don't want to get into the class argument here because it's not an argument that's going to help this cause. But what I want to really talk about is that TikTok really reached out to a huge audience. People, there's an internet revolution. Now people have access to internet, which means that more and more people were creating on that app.
Right.
So definitely, why not? As you grow, as you reach, like I recently hit 1 million. Now I'm sitting at a 1.2 million, which means that I have audiences that from all kinds of places.
Right.
They have all kinds of opinions, which is the reason I think thrice before putting out the content that I want to put, making sure that people understand it, that it does not hurt anyone's sentiments. So definitely, I personally think that it's the game is changing. The game is changing. I understand that positioning is everything, but reach is everything. Impressions is everything.
Right. Nick, you were actually wanting to say something. You have a point of view.
I'll join after Nick.
Yeah, so I want to say, because I was in VidCon last year, and the biggest talk in VidCon was TikTok.
Sure.
Last year, the biggest talk was VidCon first. Secondly, if you're talking about brands coming on TikTok, I would like to say, while I was sitting on one of the sessions, I realized that there was this one brand who paid some TikToker or like celebrity, doesn't matter, $1 million for a 15-second video. I don't think anybody can do that.
Wow.
$1 million. Yeah, one TikTok video. Even if he's a celebrity, doesn't matter. Like, even if it's just a TikToker or like an actor, but like $1 million for a 15-second video is outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I hate the app or I love it or something like that. Before coming to the app, I just saw that if you just type #YouNick, it already had like millions of views because you just cut the videos and put it out there. And that's the reason I guess me and someone like Ashish had joined it, because that's what I feel like, I might as well get those views rather than like
somebody else uploading those. Absolutely.
Getting it. And honestly, when I was in LA for 2 months, and the TikTok out there is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's creative, it's amazing. And all the top artists which I wanted to collaborate to, and the reason I went there was on Feb when I was there, I collaborated with almost all of them, all the biggest who I've looked up to, and all of them who I really wanted to kind of collaborate with. When I went there, when I'm talking to them about my ideas, they're loving it. They're like, yeah, let's do TikTok together. I was what? I came here for I thought we were supposed to do an Instagram video. I used to watch your Instagram, and all they were doing was TikTok. I would specifically talk about King Batch. How that become like a TikTok mansion. There were like 35 people every day out there just shooting TikTok.
Perfect. Yes, Ashish.
I think majorly the reason TikTok worked is because it was very easy and सबको एक creator बनने का मौका मिलता था.
Okay, we're coming to a very interesting part. We've actually got some snippets of interesting bits that you've done, right? And we wanted to show that to you and wanted you to understand in terms of what went behind it, what was the research, what was the thought process. These are some of the popular pieces of work that you've actually done online. So let's have a look.
This is one of my favorite videos of Nick.
Nick. I have to come and say here, Nick is somebody, the person you see in real life is the person in the videos. And I met him last year. And somehow we've been able to keep in touch because he's that person in real life. There's no pretense. Yeah. This is Nick.
Nick is Nick. This video is amazing, okay?
Yeah, so Nick, everyone loves this video. It's one of the most remembered videos here. So can you tell us something about this? What went behind the magic of creating a piece like this? So
where I live right now, there's a mandir next to it. And I'm very spiritual. I go there every day. So, I go there every morning, and whenever I pass by that mandir, I do this. Like how everybody does it.
A lot of us do this, yeah.
A lot absolutely. Of you. So I do this. And then I was just thinking, so what if there's the one girl who comes in front of me, and while I'm doing this, and she sees me? So that was my first thought. Okay, what if a girl sees me while doing it? Then I wanted to kind of exaggerate it. Then I thought I'll reverse it. Then I'm doing it to a girl, and what if his brother sees it? That's how my thought process work. I was thinking of something similar right now, like why kickboxing doesn't work in India? Because you kick and then you do this. When you touch your feet, when you touch your feet to anybody, you do this. So I was thinking of making a video something similar, like how kickboxing doesn't work. So that's how my thought works. Thought process is
perfect. We'll have the look at the next one.
I'm super excited about Pokemon Go. I honestly feel, as a fitness professional, this game is going to be a game changer in the world of general fitness. But more specifically, today's video is about how Pokemon Go is going to help you burn belly fat.
Okay, what is this, Ranveer?
Back in the day, we were only a fitness channel. So I was telling people use Pokemon Go to become fit because it was a big.
Oh,
I forgot about this video's existence.
wow.
Was this a branded deal?
No, it was just there was too much
It was an
Pokemon Go
in
hype.
thing.
Yeah, it was very like everyone was on Pokemon Go.
No, of course, I know. I thought, wow, like you collaborated with Pokemon Go. That is like that's like
And that
coolness.
too back in the day.
Yeah.
That's a brand I would like to have.
Yeah.
I was trying to show Pokemon Go, see, we can do more deals in the future, but it didn't work.
Yeah, we can do a lot of deals. Pokemon Go, if you're watching
Yeah,
the
if
CNBC,
you-
just please.
Yeah.
will
We'll do
be
a
YouNick,
Maha
Kusha.
episode. We'll do a Maha episode.
Five of us together.
We are ready to collab, by the way. Pokemon
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
five of us.
Yeah, so in case any of them is hearing this,
A lot of our old ideas were with that intention that we'll show the brands because at this point we didn't get brand deals. This is like 2016 or something. So a lot of the videos, the thoughts was, okay, we'll show brands that we can do this so we get money later. I think that was the idea here.
perfect. Yes, Kusha.
Kala shakala, o kala shakala, jo ਤੁਸੀਂ kala ਸਰਕਾਰ ਗੋਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਫਾ ਕਰੋ अजीब दास्ता है कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म मेहंदी लाके गहने पाके आप जी आज नहीं होना मेहंदी लाके a 5 a 4 a 5 4 3 na pila na नीला na काला na गोरा अभी है दुपट्टा मेरा गोरा गोरा बरसे रंगीने कलियां है मैं की बिन बिनी बस मन में हल्के हल्के शनाए रे
You know,
So tell us, Kusha. Kusha, how can you flawlessly do such very interesting characters, right, in one video?
it's when you've grown up in a family where everybody is such a cartoon and everybody thinks that it is okay to like body shame because it's Punjabi culture, then you internalize that kind of like shaming in life. And I can tell you this for sure, everybody here, for all of us at some point in our lives, humor has been our coping mechanism. I know this, like these people don't even have to tell me this, but a creator sees a creator, so I'm telling you, humor is a coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
This is my coping mechanism, and trust me, I want to say that इसमें बहुत research गया है, पर ये 5 मिनट का improv था.
This makes you a digital star right here, right now. This.
Don't say it to brands. नहीं तो बोलेगा 5 मिनट का इतना अच्छा.
नहीं मैं बहुत actually branded video नहीं है, so I can do whatever. So the thing is, my the person who was doing the camera, the DOP, I was like, just roll karo, and I'm just gonna like perform out of body experience. And for 5 minutes I just performed, and they were laughing. If you see in this, the camera is shaking a little bit because they were also laughing.
I'm sure they were.
I think I have to add in here some of the biggest hits of any creators over here are something that was an improv. I'm telling you.
100%.
That's a thumb rule of being an internet star. You do something in like 1 or 2 minutes and that goes viral as well.
जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं, सारी की सारी चिट्स बट चुकी है, पैसे हड़प लिए गए हैं, बंगले ले लिए गए हैं, लेकिन एक आखिरी चिट बची है. ये चिट मेरे दिल के करीब है. जादू रॉयल बॉन्ड पेपर क्वालिटी, प्लैटिनम सिजर से कट, हैंडमेड, दुनिया में सिर्फ ऐसी 2 चिट्स हैं, और ये चिट है परम्यूटेशन और कॉम्बिनेशन की.
So you guys can see, this is my OG classroom, my 12th tuitions. And here you guys can see I am actually bidding chits in front of students before their exams. Yeah, chits. So I'm wearing chits. I am Chitendra Bahubali in this video. I think student content is something I would be very, would be very narcissist comment right now, if that's what the word is. But student videos are something that I'm really obsessed with because I've been a science and engineering student. And
भड़ास निकल रही है अभी.
all these videos are wild imaginations of me and my friends in my classroom. Like, for example, if I was with my friend Akash and just before giving an exam, and I used to think यार कोई chits का यार बोली लगाए क्लास में तो कितना मजा आएगा यार, इंटीग्रेशन प्रोबेबिलिटी की सबसे ज्यादा महंगी होगी चिट, परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन लाखों करोड़ों में बिकेगी. आई थिंक exaggeration behind these videos, and this is one of my most successful videos on my channel that I never expected. It has 63 million views on the channel, and it's crazy. I think this video college में लगता था बोली. I think I've made my career on student videos. I'm so proud of this video.
And they were amazing, dude.
Urvashi, let's see your interesting piece of content which actually made a lot of noise.
Fun. Watching your vines, watching your music videos, watching your films, and watching your content.
Did you say you watched my vines? Did you say you watched my vines?
I mean, you were part of vines, and no, I mean, obviously, like your content.
But my vines from like 5 years ago.
The old vines.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, that's cool. You just what a horrible way to pass the time. I'm sorry. You should take up a hobby.
Actually, he wanted to do a TikTok. What do we call like TikTok duet? Okay. And then we did this live. Yeah, I mean, those were the days, when it was, I think, when the lockdown started. So I had gone live with Hannah Stocking again, with Logan, with King Bash. And then I'm also going to be going live with Lele Pons now. So I think, yeah. But then Logan was like, he wanted to do a TikTok duet. Because he was like that was the day when he kind of started using TikTok. I think, he was new on TikTok and then he wanted to do something on TikTok.
Perfect. Okay, I want to actually thank you. I think this was just a small piece of, I think, from the amount of work that you guys have done, I think you could actually spend hours on it. But this was just a little bit for reminding the audience on the great creativity that all of you have showcased. One last common point, and then we'll have a quick last final question to each one of you and end. But the common point of discussion was there was a pre-COVID era. We are currently in the COVID time, and there is going to be a post-COVID era, right? I want you to tell us, in your view, and anybody, in terms of how starkly different when it comes to digital content or when it comes to content overall, because especially, I think nobody has seen unprecedented times. Cinema is moving to OTT, right? There is uncertainty looming large. There is also insecurity amongst a lot of people, whether and today, we rightfully touched upon the topic of influencers and whether a lot of TikTokers, they don't know probably how the sense of earning will come to. There is also a post-COVID era, where people are saying that this might be the new normal and an extension of new normal. So in these times, what are your views in terms of content and what are your thoughts and suggestions? And what is your strategy to navigate through these two times?
It's interesting now. People are going to be like, oh, tumhari team hai. It's almost like, tere bhai mein bhi dam hai, like, yeah, even we've had teams. It is true. Like, we do work with teams. If I would go anywhere, if I would go to shoot, I would have a team about like 4 people sort of doing different things. And it has just completely stripped us of that privilege. But at the same time, the amount of privilege that creators have right now, first of all, thank you, Bhagwanji, because we are in a very, very good position. Everything is moving online. We are now working with streaming platforms. Streaming platforms understand that we bring certain kind of value to them. We've collaborated with some of the best brands in lockdown. So our privilege right now is immense.
Also, I just want to answer the previous question a bit. I feel that the present was covered by everyone. Like we spoke about how it's impromptu and all. That's what's going to go on right now. But I definitely feel that we're going to see very different content strategies after the lockdown is lifted.
Like, you want to throw some lights on it?
I've spoken to Carrie Minati about this in detail, Nick, Ashish, Zakir Khan, and a lot of other people. So there's going to be like 3 major content shifts. The first is obviously going to be short form, like what we're seeing with Reels. There's going to be lots of new creators come up. Just TikTok style content, Vines, all that will come back in a very, very big way, even bigger than it was.
Sure.
The second, and this is a trend I'm seeing from my own YouTube channel, but I've spoken to a lot of people about this, is niche, but very like in-depth content. So if someone wants to learn one topic or watch a show about movies, they want to go extremely in depth. So that's where something like podcast benefits, where a YouTuber creating a 40-minute long sketch, 50-minute long sketch benefits, where it's very, very immersive content. And the third is because people are so kind of used to the impromptu-ness of these times, when we bounce out of it, even our teams will be extremely recharged. So then the third kind of content that's going to work is extremely stunning content, like something that really blows you away through editing, through camera work. Everyone's going to level up. So while the YouTubers also leveling up in terms of creativity, the YouTubers' teams are going to level up in terms of production and just their own games.
First, on that note, I think I wanted to thank each and every one of you for actually, I have had a blast today. With that, on behalf of the entire team at Kiska Brand Bajega, I wish you all the best and hope you continue to entertain us with your acting, gags, and all the humorous content. Thank you very, very much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Aditya.
Have a nice,
Thank you.
Be safe, man. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
This is Aditya Bhatt signing off from the home edition of Kiska Brand Bajega. Until next time, happy branding. Stay safe.
I don't have a bank. I make one film at a time. I pay my actors, I pay my artists, I pay my technicians, and move on.
Only tell stories which matter is what made me draw to this whole idea of making Nilbate Sannata.
I was like standing on a platform, and जिसने मुझे ticket काट के दी, that was Salman Khan.